What makes the perfect campsite?
Campsite 2.
Many people agonise over what to buy and pack to take camping, but in reality the most important decision is where you choose to stay.
Yeah, this'll do. I'll be able to sleep here tonight.
If you're set up in a mosquito-infested swamp or a dry, dusty field, you're just not going to enjoy yourself. So choosing a great location has an enormous impact on your trip, far more than any gear you could buy.
We got most of our stuff there in that big storage bin in the middle.
But how do you find the ultimate campsite? Is there a secret formula or a checklist? What are the criteria for a great campsite? The perfect overnight campsite when hiking may not be so ideal for the 2-week family holiday, but surely there are some universal prerequisites.
Lovely campsite. It's really good.
Well, indeed there are. In fact, there are 9. Now, I suspect you will agree with the first few, but the rest might surprise you, and I'll leave the most controversial to the end.
Nice!
The most essential campsite requirement, and one that I'm sure we'll all agree on, is beautiful scenery. It could be a mirror-like lake, dense bush or rainforest, a tropical beach, soaring mountain ranges, or a winding river.
So we're going to head off to the left there.
Regardless, the natural environment must be scenic. Otherwise, it's just not the ultimate campsite.
The last rays of sun.
Okay, so we all agree on the first requirement for beautiful scenery, but not all will agree with the second campsite essential. I know many of you love staying in caravan and RV parks. Many are set up like resorts with pools, bars and restaurants, but with their popularity growing, they seem to be getting so busy and crowded. So if you're like me and prefer to avoid the crowds, then my second campsite essential is seclusion. Your own quiet, secluded paradise, away from all the hustle and bustle. Okay, this next one might surprise a few. When choosing a campsite, do you ever consider the ground covering? Grass makes a huge difference to your stay and is our third campsite essential. If you've ever camped directly on dusty, rocky ground, you'll know how messy and uncomfortable it gets. Contrast this when you are set up on a lush, thick lawn. Not only is it much cleaner, but it also feels soft underfoot. Plus, the kids can roll around and play without turning to chimney sweeps. Okay, let's continue with the vegetation theme, as trees are our fourth campsite essential. Yep, in the middle of a stinking hot summer, the value of shade cannot be overstated. Gazebos, tarps and awnings are great, but there is no substitute for shady trees. They also provide privacy and act as a wind block when you would otherwise be blown away. And although it's sometimes frowned upon, trees are handy when tying up clotheslines, guide ropes and all sorts of things.
Whoa!
Okay, so now I'm going to get a little fussy, but my perfect campsite would have some basic infrastructure. A permanent table or bench can be really helpful, especially when you have limited storage and can't bring your own. A simple bench can transform a campsite when hiking or bikepacking. They are super helpful when packing up camp, and also give a stable surface to cook on. I know many people will also insist on a flushing toilet. Having a toilet also keeps the campsite a lot cleaner and more hygienic. For myself, I find the most valuable amenity is a source of fresh water. It can be from a tap, or better still a natural source, such as a clean flowing stream or river. In compiling this list, it pays to consider what can ruin a campsite. One thing comes immediately to mind, and it's what we discussed in our top 5 camping game changers video. The perfect campsite can quickly become unbearable if you're being eaten alive by swarms of insects. Mosquitoes, bull ants, sandflies, you name it. Of course, you can always use thermocell, but the ultimate campsite, as I'm sure you'd agree, would be largely free of these critters. Okay, this next one will be extremely controversial. The 7th campsite essential, in my humble opinion, would be phone reception. Yes, I know we can survive without it, but the ultimate campsite would have phone reception. But why, you ask?
What a day. It's been a cracker. Just going to ring home and let Suze know that I'm alright.
Well, for many reasons, but most importantly, peace of mind in an emergency. It also allows you to let friends and family know exactly where you are, and also direct visitors to your campsite.
A bit chilly, so I'm going to
If the signal is strong enough, you can also use your smartphone to check the latest weather reports, which is critical when you are boat or jet ski camping. Having reception for your smartphone also allows you to watch the latest episode of Jet Ski Camping or the big football game instead of missing out. I've even used my phone to extend my camp booking online. Yes, for years we lived completely fine without cell phones, but with all the information and peace of mind they provide, it's great to have phone reception. Okay, if you're still watching and haven't thrown your iPhone Max in disgust, this next one is for you. The 8th campsite essential for the ultimate campsite is a campfire. Yes, despite all our modern technology and gadgets, there's nothing quite like sitting around a warm campfire at night.
How good is this?
They're also great for cooking on and drying out wet clothes. Plus the smoke tends to keep the mozzies away. Unfortunately, some campers get carried away and there's a real chance of starting wildfires. So some campsites now enforce a total fire ban or require the fire to be enclosed. I guess you can always make do with a candle. Our 9th and final campsite essential is so unique and special. Yes, the ultimate campsite has to have that X factor. Something that distinguishes itself from all the other campsites and keeps you coming back. It could be great fishing, surfing or snorkeling. Or perhaps there's a fabulous swimming hole or cafe
That's
nearby.
awesome.
Maybe it's the wildlife or the walking trails. Or perhaps there's a playground for the kids. Or maybe there's a protected anchorage, perfect for jet ski camping. Whatever it is, the ultimate campsite would have a unique X factor. So, do you think a golf course could make the ultimate campsite? It would have to come pretty close. Let me know if there's a golf course near you that would make an awesome campground. Do you think your local golfers could give us the back 9 or perhaps the 18th hole?
Well, almost set up. I'm just going to have a bit of a look. See if there's any camp wood that's been left behind. Hey, what do you know?
Thanks for joining me today. Hang in there and I'll see you next time.